How can someone be so booked and busy, yet still have free time to watch Real Housewives? Well, Sahaj knows a thing or two about that. So his overarching motto for himself is booked and busy, and he likes to keep it that way. His friends would refer to him for his contagious smile, his endless care for others, and his obsession with Real Housewives. So Sahaj has had a unique high school experience. He grew up in Porter Ranch, about 40 minutes away from here, and in high school he only attended a real campus 20% of the time, but the rest was an online program. However, that did not stop him from being very involved in his high school. For example, he was the student council president, as well as giving the morning announcements every single day. He also volunteered at a nearby middle school and worked as a TA there for over 500 hours. He also admits that he humbly brags a little bit too much sometimes to uplift himself. So, just like Quad Webb, Sahaj's favorite character in Real Housewives, he has had a very similar story to her and has been in a dark place in the past. So when Quad Webb went through a divorce with her husband, she was in a very dark place, and her friends were nowhere to be found. She did not have support from them, and she was also very busy at the time. However, through this, she really triumphed and grew and worked on herself and was able to rise above the situation. The same goes for Sahaj in high school. He was in a very dark place, and his friends weren't there for him, but he was able to really work on himself and grow from this experience and just become successful and get to where he is today. Prior to Pepperdine, Sahaj has realized that he has been very affected by what other people say and think about him. And he even said, "Why am I letting other people affect me? I am me." In the past, as I said, he's been very affected by people and felt very unrecognized and he's also molded to what other people wanted him to be rather than sticking true to himself. So as for 2020, his goals are to really become stronger in this way and be less emotionally affected by other people, as well as just stick true to himself. So he sometimes still finds himself in this dark place and is currently dealing with a best friend from home who is not being very supportive, and the relationship is kind of going through a hard time. However, unlike in the past, he's not letting this affect him and drag him down, but rather focusing on his academics and himself and his growth and trying to move forward from here. So his graduation night really marked a pivotal point in his life. And this was because he came to the realization that he was all grown up and that he'd finally made it and he was leaving his past behind. And he finally felt he got recognized. When his name was called to receive his diploma and he walked up to accept it, he felt like, wow, this is the moment I've been waiting for. I'm finally being recognized for everything that I've done, and it really changed a lot in him. As well, when 2 scholarship recipients were announced and his name was announced as one of them, he was so shocked and surprised he honestly didn't even know what to do or think. But this really sparked a realization within him that he needs to enjoy the little things. So, as you can see, Sahaj has had a lot of successes, but with that has come a lot of setbacks as well. For example, he ran for SGA at Pepperdine this fall and he didn't get it, and he was also supposed to have a scholarship for Pepperdine, but that didn't end up working out. However, this has not stopped him from trying again. He has realized that you really can't win at everything, and from that, you just have to try again. His most recent setback actually happened the past semester when he had 4 8 a.m.s 4 days a week, and that was really difficult to balance with having a job and a social life as well. In that moment, he really felt that everything was just completely collapsing on top of him, and he really didn't know what to do, as he was also just transitioning into college as a freshman. When he talked to other students, though, he soon realized that other people had gone through a very similar thing, and that he was not alone and they were able to get through it, so he realized that he could too. He took this as a learning lesson and realized he would benefit in the end. As the hedge always says, you try again. So through this struggle, these setbacks, and letting go of everything, Sahaj has really learned to value himself more than everything. So if you think about it, when you ask somebody, well, what do you value? Most people tend to say something pretty ordinary, such as family, honesty, loyalty, or something to that extent. But when I asked Sahaj this question, he confidently answered, myself. Sahaj has really learned to value his self-worth and self-care, and nothing can override that anymore. Sahaj has also really realized and even said to me that only he can change the world himself, and no one else can really do that for him. So, after years and years of molding to what other people really wanted him to be, he has come to the realization that I am me and that is who I'm going to be.